As it happens in most professional sports leagues, not all of the major headlines in the NBA are featured in a highlight reel or take place on the court. In fact, some of the most interesting things happen after the games are done. Because of this, it's common to hear now and then a player complaining about certain situations regarding his team, how the coaching staff needs to make adjustments to the game plan, or how other players should step their games up. However, this is only expected from the most important or seasoned players in each roster. So when Denver's rookie Michael Porter Jr. opened up about the things his team should change in a media conference following a loss to the Clippers, it took everyone by surprise and received almost immediate disapproval from players and commentators alike. But regardless of this, could he have been right in what he said? Welcome to Courtside. Today we'll take a deep look at MPJ's words, how the world reacted to them, and most importantly, whether he had a point in what he said or not. If you hadn't been following Porter outside of what he does on the court, his comments might have taken you by surprise. However, this is not the first time that the Nuggets rookie has made the headlines for something he said. Not so long ago, he shared his thoughts about how the coronavirus was being used to control the masses of people. Something that even Adam Silver had to comment later on by saying that young guys are occasionally going to say silly things. Still, those comments were mostly overlooked as they had nothing to do with basketball and the bubble games hadn't even started at the time. But things were different this time. During a Game 4 loss in his team's second-round series against the Los Angeles Clippers, Porter scored 15 points in the first half before going scoreless the rest of the game. When asked about his second-half production by the media, he answered by saying that he didn't receive the ball and followed that by talking about how the team had to get more players involved to avoid becoming predictable on offense, and how he would bring those concerns up to the coaching staff. The comments, regardless of their intention, received a negative reaction by the media, as it's widely known in the NBA circles that this kind of issue shouldn't be talked about in front of the media, much less by a rookie. Many talked about how he should have kept it to the inside of the organization, while others mentioned that this wasn't the right moment to talk about such things. As Charles Barkley put it, down in a 3-1 hole, it was time for the players to band together instead of calling each other out. Damian Lillard took to social media to express his disgust, writing about how what Porter did was wrong, while also defending the star duo of Jokic and Murray for carrying the team up to where it is now. For his part, Coach Karl Malone regarded the comments as an unnecessary distraction in the middle of the playoffs and mentioned how the team talked about how it would be much better to keep those conversations internal. Now, it's completely clear that Porter shouldn't have said such things to the media. However, it would be valid to wonder whether the Nuggets need to make offensive adjustments to have a chance to come back and win the series. In their previous series, Denver managed to complete the comeback by making improvements on defense, going from allowing Utah to score at least 124 points during the first 4 games of the series to limiting them to under 107 in the last 3, all Nuggets wins. However, the Clippers have presented a serious challenge on the other end of the floor. Through the first 4 games of the series, the Nuggets were held to under 100 points 2 times, both losses, and weren't able to score over 110, something they did 2 times in the first 4 games against the Jazz. In Porter's favor, while most of his teammates have been scoring steadily, he was the team's 3rd leading scorer with an average of 12.2 points per game over the first 4 games, while also scoring the 2nd and 3rd most points for them during games 3 and 4, respectively. On top of that, the rookie had his best offensive stretch of the season just a few weeks ago after leading the team in scoring throughout the seeding games, and while the playoffs' defenses are on a whole different level, he's shown that he's capable of providing additional scoring when given the chance. Still, there's also a reason why he was removed from the starting lineup. Despite being a natural scorer and helping balance the offense by coming off the bench, Malone had to move him to the second unit as opposing teams were exploiting him on defense. And though he still receives starter minutes, there have been occasions in which he's been a defensive liability for the team, something that has limited his impact on the game and that analysts believe he should improve on before asking for the ball. Now, after what happened, and taking into consideration his seemingly one-dimensional impact, it probably would have been reasonable if Malone decided to give Porter fewer minutes in Game 5. However, wisely, the coach didn't do such a thing and, surprisingly, MPJ was able to back up his words with some memorable moments down the stretch. Down 15 points with a little under 10 minutes to go, Denver's season seemed all but over. But as it has been the case over their playoff run, that's when they decided to show the best version of themselves. A few minutes later, the team had gained its first lead of the game and Porter made sure to leave his mark. A couple of defensive plays by him had helped the team remain in front, but over the final moments of the game, he had the most important stretch of his career to date. With 1 minute and 11 seconds to go and the Nuggets holding to a 2-point lead, Porter made his only shot of the game, an ill-advised 3-pointer with a hand on his face to put his team up by 5. He followed that by blocking Zubac shortly after and holding down a crucial rebound, then iced the game with 4 free throws to make sure that Denver's season would extend for at least 1 more game. The rookie's performance on both ends of the floor came as a pleasant and much-needed surprise for a team that was on the brink of elimination but that, once again, refused to keep their heads down. Following the game, Malone praised his effort and confidence, reasserting that, despite his inexperience or lack of understanding of some situations, he's confident in the young player's skills as well as his teammates are. Porter also talked about how he handled the situation, saying that he tried to block the criticism out while also acknowledging what players like Lillard had to say about it. He made it clear that while he stood by what he said on his previous comments, he wasn't trying to disrespect his teammates nor his coach, and that everybody was on the same page before the game started. And curiously, part of Denver's success can be attributed to the fact that they actually included more people on the offense in the second half of the game. Over the final 2 quarters, 9 different Nuggets scored the ball, and the team recorded 15 assists, an improvement from the second half of Game 4, where only 6 players made a score, and they only had 6 assists. So, despite having voiced his concerns in the worst possible way, Porter proved to be right in the end, as his team was able to keep its season going, in part because it was able to involve more players on offense. On the other hand, the rookie rose to the occasion and showed that he can also be an asset on the defensive end of the court and make the kind of plays that are necessary to win playoff games. Now, with a chance to keep fighting, the Nuggets will try to keep one of their most impressive seasons going by extending their series to a winner-take-all Game 7. They already made history by completing their first comeback from a 3-1 deficit in franchise history and becoming only the 12th team in league history to do so, as well as the first team since the 2015 Rockets to avoid elimination 4 times in a single playoff run. They'll attempt to become the first team ever to come back from 2 such deficits and spoil the all-Los Angeles Western Conference Finals that everyone has been dreaming about since before the season started. But regardless of whether they manage to do it or not, the Nuggets can probably consider themselves as a winner in the season. The emergence of Murray has provided them with a solid second star to pair with Jokic for the foreseeable future. And with Porter also in place, it may be only a matter of time before Denver has its own homegrown Big Three ready to contend for a title, which means that the team will have more than enough offensive threats in the future, and probably there won't be more concerns about getting people involved. On the whole, Michael Porter Jr. has so far shown one of the greatest potentials in his class, and while he may one day be an elite scorer in the league, he also understands that he still has room to improve as a player overall, starting with a consistent effort on the defensive end. If he's able to keep getting better as time goes by, there should be no reason to not give him a more prominent role in Denver's offense, and if he ever has any concerns regarding the game plan again, there's no reason to believe he will voice it out to the media after his experience following Game 4. Now, do you think that the Nuggets will get better as a team from this experience, or will it have consequences for their future? Let us know in the comments. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, remember to give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more NBA content. We are Courtside.